Okay, let's look at the first rule of your trigonometry that we use very often in O levels. We got our sine rule, right? So the thing here is all of the rules that we use, sine rule and cosine rule, right? They are all supposed to be found in our formula sheet. So there's no need to memorize it. But what I want you to take note is this one, okay? Or the one on top here. All right. The small alphabet over here we use to represent the length. Okay, and then the angle opposite the length, we will use a capital one to actually, capital alphabet to represent. Okay, so this thing like that, right, is interchangeable. That means you can also make it over this and this like that, but don't need to worry too much because follow your formula sheet, you get it correct. Okay, because this is actually comparing the ratio. All right, so first thing first, right? Okay, when do you use a sine rule? All right, I want you to know that your sine rule, right? Okay, there are a few things that you need to take note here. What you always look out for is that there is always two lengths and two angles. Okay, so two lengths and two angles. Okay, and then one of the four things over here will be one of the unknowns lah. Another way to see is you help me to spot a crisscross. Okay, so like in this case, right, what you're supposed to find is, I think it's quite obvious, you need to find your x, correct? So always help me to do a crisscross. So this is the opposite. Then where else do you have the opposite with a given angle, given length? You see, I can draw a crisscross. So I will use this and this with this together with this. Okay, so for sine rule, right, don't have to worry too much because you just need to plug into your formula. So whether 7 or x comes, so let me just do x, okay? So if I do x, right, the opposite one will be sine 55. Okay, so you just need this. After that, the other one, the length is 7, and this one here is sine 40. Okay, so what you need to do is, of course, we need to calculate what is x, right? So fraction equal fraction, just go and cross multiply. So when you cross multiply from here, x multiply by sine 40 is equals to 7 multiply by sine 55. So if I want the x here, what you have to do is, you just need to manipulate, bring over, right? So when I bring over, this is a times over here. So when I bring over, becomes a divide. So when it becomes a divide, all you need to do is just press your calculator. So for lengths, right, just find your final answer in 3 significant figure. For degree, just help me with 1 decimal place, okay? So this one, you just press fraction 7 sine 55 over sine 40. Accidentally put the extra one there. Okay, so now if it's not the final answer, then you give in 5SF. But now we final already, right? So 8.92. Did they put units? Never. So you can just put units. If it's cm, mm, km, cm, meter, or km, then just put accordingly. Okay, 3 significant figure. Just punch into your calculator will do. So this will just be your sine rule. Same thing, we're going to use our sine rule, but now we want to find our angle from here. So what we do is see whether we can draw a crisscross, this one and this one, right? So once we manage to do our crisscross, let's punch in our formulas, okay? So 16 length over sine theta equals to length over sine 25. Okay, so similarly, fraction equal fraction, we just have to cross multiply. All right, so then you can easily, you can easily continue from here. So what we get is 10 sine theta, 16 sine 25. All right, so one extra step if you want to find the angle, okay, one extra step from here, what are we supposed to do? Okay, I cannot copy, never mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this, no, I'm going to bring this one over. Okay, so it's a times on the left side, right? So when I bring over, it becomes a divide. So this part here will be sine theta, which is 16 sine 25. Just help me to divide by 10. Okay, what's the next thing we're going to look out for? Because we want theta, right? So opposite of sine, you want to bring sine over, is actually sine inverse. So you just need to sine inverse this entire thing. Same thing, punch into your calculator. This is a degree, right? Final answer is degree, right? So degree you always give in 1 decimal place, okay? So calculator also in degree mode, 16 sine 25. Below is 10. then you will get this one over here, which is 42.546. Okay, I write like that first. Okay, why am I like a bit hesitating? Because number one, I want you to go back to your diagram. That's the problem with trigonometry. Go back to your diagram. Do you notice this is an obtuse angle. How come my answer so small one? Right, my answer is an acute angle. So actually in this case, right, if we need to really solve the theta, right, it's actually an obtuse angle. So when we do an obtuse angle, we need to take 180 minus this one. Okay, now we reach our final answer. So 180 minus this, then I'll be able to get 137.51 decimal place. So please take note of this step. Okay, this step is very, very important. All right, a lot of students, you don't know. Imagine this is part I. You continue, right? It will all be wrong already. So always make sure, because over here we can see this is acute, not what we want. We want an obtuse angle. All right, so bear in mind this important thing here.